welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachel
and Neal Young. So we're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachel and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the podcast. Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
You know, over here, I'm kidding out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that? Hey!
Rach, who do you love?
HD Photo Hub.
Today's episode is brought to you by HD Photo Hub.
The platform real estate photographers trust.
And so do we, because Rach and I both use it on a daily basis. Check it out. Welcome back to the podcast. Exciting episode today. We've got two guests today. We've got JD and Mercedes from Mathews Media down in Florida. And so we're going to have a fun episode. And Rachel, I chatted with them a little while ago, so I'll let her kind of intro this a little bit more, and then we'll dive into, how y'all got into this business.
So I met Mercedes on social media. Mercedes, when did we meet? When was that? Do you remember?
I think it was a few years ago. I think it was early on in our start. So I've been watching you guys kind of from the very beginning.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I know you've reached out, you always comment, and we engage on each other's content frequently. It's been really fun to watch you grow, and you jump more onto social media too. You're very forward facing, so I'm sure we'll talk about that. But yeah, you guys approached me. When was that? Like 6 months ago, I would say, maybe 9 months ago.
Sounds about right.
Right?
Yeah, about summertime.
Yeah, just asking if you could pick my brain on a few things. You were looking to add a new shooter and had some questions about growing the team and how to go about that. So we spent about an hour on the phone, just kind of Q&A style. And we had a good time. It was awesome. And I thought, it would be fun to bring them on the podcast and do kind of a follow-up of Q&A, kind of where you guys are at now, and answer any questions that you guys might have from this point going forward. So why don't you just start by introducing yourselves, talk about, how you guys started in this industry, how long you've been at it, where you're at now in your business, and then some of your goals for 2025.
Okay. I'll start. So thank you so much for having us on the podcast. This is super cool. I'm JD, and this is my wife, Mercedes. So we are the Mathews, and that's Mathews Media. So when we started, we felt it was important to not just do real estate photography, but media. And this is what we do full time. We have some employees, and we're experiencing some growth. So we'll get into that. But our journey started as kind of a side hustle, and well, like anything, or at least for me, when I start something, I jump right on, YouTube and podcasts and try to learn just as much as you can about any of it. And we found you guys, and we follow the web pages and the Instagram. And so it was really cool when we were trying to decide, how do you find other people that are like you to talk about stuff? And Mercedes, she runs our social media. If you see anything on it that you like or love, it's all her, 100%. So she said, hey, you should really talk to and reach out to Rachael. She'd be happy to just have a conversation. I was like, she'll just call me? They're just a lady on the internet? I mean, she's got a podcast and stuff. So she said, no, seriously, it's just, you guys have been communicating. So it was super cool that conversation came to fruition. I think it's probably summertime, because we were considering hiring our first full-time employee, I guess in October or November. So we reached out to you a few months before that. So it's kind of neat. So thank you for the call today, and thank you for the call 6 months ago. It's kind of neat to see it come full circle.
Yeah, of course. I can't wait to hear how it's going.
What did you guys transition from? What were you doing before this?
Nothing at all related.
Yeah, I guess probably the most concise way to answer that is we've worked at a couple different businesses, a tech company. I've been in sales most of my life. She comes from a
sales and marketing.
Family businesses. We're both entrepreneur families. So kind of all of these skill sets and my previous job, plus a mixture of COVID, which allowed me to work from home. I started photographing real estate photography on the side, just to kind of I didn't even really need the money, to be honest with you. I just enjoyed the drone work and the camera so much. It's like, this is fun. We live in a small beach town. I mean, we can 7-minute drive, we can get to the beach, and our slow season is during the summer, so we take advantage of that. But a lot
and not to mention too, my cousin was actually doing real estate media out in Los Angeles, and so we were watching him and his business grow for a couple of years, and JD was just so interested in the drones, and so I bought him one for like a Christmas present, and it just kind of took off proverbially from there. So we started the little side hustle, and then about 2 years ago, we decided to take the leap of faith and make it our full-time gig, and we haven't really turned back yet. So it's been scary, but it's been really exciting just watching it grow and making it our everything, really.
Yeah, it's like when you start, it's like, I just wish I had 1 or 2 photo shoots a week. Now,
we just wanted to pay for the camera equipment. We were like, if we can just pay for
it was a fun one. Get an iPhone, get a new MacBook. I just wanted to pay for the goodies, and then it just.
Then you're like, whoa, when it's crazy. The moment I still remember the moment I realized what the potential was of this business, when I was like, wait a minute, I just booked an $800 shoot. If I did one of those a week, if I did 4 of those a week, right? I'm like, whoa. Yeah. It was like,
so
like going
that's
after
a
this.
really good kind of like pivot point for us. When we realize the potential, you soon start to say, there's one of me, there's one of her. And that's kind of some of the questions that we called you about in the summertime. We're like, hey, we really like what we do, but as I get older, or I want to take a vacation for 10 days. We're gonna we'll be married 10 years in March, and we're going to Mexico for 10 days. That's a big deal for us to take that much time off. And we said, I guess back in the summertime, we said, we want to prepare our business so that it's in a place that we can leave it for a week and a half, and our customers won't feel stressed out. We won't feel stressed out. It's like, what does that look like? And that's a scary question to ask yourself. So
it's a little bit of that Jim Collins mentality of going from good to great, and your company being able to run without you being there. Because if it necessitates us, then all we've really done is, I say all, but we fortuned ourselves a job, but we're really looking to establish something that's sustaining and long-term and can be without us.
But we also really enjoy the employee component. We had a software company that we worked at before, and was up to 13 employees at one time. And it was so cool to kind of work with them and watch them, and
help their careers too, and teach them skill sets that we've learned over the years.
So we think
there's a lot of aspects of it that are really exciting.
That's cool. Well, so how far, you said you have that vacation's coming up. How far off is that?
March, end of March. So we basically have 90 days, and we've been preparing for it since about October. So we're about 4 months into prep, and we feel good. And we have 90 days to go.
We feel okay.
You'll feel better in a month or two.
That's your busy season then as well. Is that correct?
So for us, I don't know if it's because we're in a beach town, but for us, busy season is like we're coming into it right now. January, February, everybody's going to list, hoping to sell in April, May, and June. And then there will be a big lull in July and August. And again, I think it's probably because we're beach town. People are here, they're in their homes, no one's buying, and it's super hot here. So
nobody sells in the summer.
Nobody sells either. And then we'll have a big push October, really September, October, November is just craziness, and then December slows down. So we're getting ready to come into our busiest month of the year, followed by our second busiest month of the year.
So tell us a little bit about.
Then we'll go on vacation.
Yeah, right. I love it. So tell us a little bit about the solution you came up with to allow you to go away for 10 years and not pull all your hair out.
It really started, I think, before the conversation that we had with Rachael, and it was, okay, how do we get a shooter in place or shooters in place that can take over the work and deliver the same quality and consistency? Maybe it won't happen in the same speed. I mean, JD has gotten so fast at doing some of these shoots that just takes, time. But I think that getting the right people in place and having the right systems in place before we go is what's going to be the real driver for us. And
Yeah.
so just having that conversation and like getting those people hired, I mean, it really set a fire on us to find somebody and hire the right person. I'm not necessarily sure that we did it the right way, because at first we hired and trained somebody. Like, we were trying to get him to get his Part 107, so he didn't have anything, because we're like, you're not bringing any bad habits, we'll provide the kit, we'll train you.
He had some small skills, but for the most part, total newbie. But it's like, yeah, let's mold this individual right from the ground up. We were doing it in a part-time capacity, and it was good, but I quickly found that, you know, I needed somebody who had a base set of skill sets. And for us, we didn't want to do a contractor experience, because I felt like I would not have the level of control that I wanted out of that employee. And I mean, control doesn't mean, you know, I need to tell you what to do, when to do, like a crazy person. It just means if I need you to shoot amenity photos all day, that's what I want to pay you to do. I don't necessarily want to hire a contractor to do that. And some of them, you know, might not be willing. So we
worried about getting them trained if it was only going to be kind of at that contractor part-time capacity. So we really wanted, I think, a little bit of control and like making them come to every single shoot, even though it might not necessarily, you know, be needed at that time.
So we went on the hunt for a full-time individual who had it didn't necessarily have to be real estate photography experience, but maybe some type of photography or media experience.
And their Part 107.
Yeah.
It's really hard to teach people.
It's nice for them to go ahead and have that 107 and be familiar. So we started out the search for that employee to bring him on full-time. And right before we reached out to Rachael, that was when I think 30 days later, we would hire the part-time employee, and then 30 days later, we would hire the full-time. So I want to say November 1st.
Mm-hmm.
November 1st was his first day. So what did we just round out? 2 months. And it's night and day. They're both very good at their roles. So we still have the part-time and we still have the full-time, but just, again, totally different in kind of what their roles are and their skill sets, but both equally valuable to the company. So I know it's a long way of answering your question, but we've taken steps towards hiring individuals that can shoot properties in our absence. And then we have a bunch of questions for you on how we should fix everything else while we're gone.
I love it. Okay, so let's explain kind of how this dynamic works, because JD, you're out shooting in the field, right? And Mercedes, you don't shoot, correct? You stay home and do all the social media marketing and admin,
correct?
Right? Okay.
Before we hired a shooter, I was going out in the field and I was kind of like the assistant, like getting the house set up, like toilet paper.
He could do 3D tours,
floor plans.
We kind of worked around each other as a little, because one of our things is customer service. Above all else, customer service. So we really want them to have a good experience. So even if it wasn't necessary to bring her sometimes, it would still be there. She could just talk to the agent, or like she said, help set up the house, even if we can shave 10 or 15 minutes.
But now I'm on the social media side, so I handle all of our marketing, social media. I do a lot of our morning time, like deliverables. I do all our deliverables.
By deliverables,
Q&A, quality control type edits.
And
so
final Photoshop touch up of photos.
Decluttering, property lines, arrows, uploading all of our videos to YouTube. Kind of a little bit more on the admin, like mostly on the admin and marketing side now.
So who's going to do all that while you're gone?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Well,
you need a virtual assistant.
Going to one of our 2025 goals, that is our kind of one of our top goals, is replacing, maybe not necessarily replacing my position, but someone who can do a bulk of, the things. Because social media can go down for a week. It's okay if we're not posting. Would it be ideal if we had scheduled stuff? And absolutely, I hope to get to that point, with your awesome marketing guide that you guys put together. So to get things put in the pipeline. But yeah, that's definitely kind of, I think, the big glaring thing that we need to address now is who's going to deliver, who's going to do those edits, the quality control. And
so we've put some things in place to like ease the process. So invoicing used to be click 18 boxes and upload, download, and all this craziness. So we now kind of have a place in
streamline stuff.
So I think in a perfect world, if we had a magic wand, yes, there's somebody to do it. But I think for this round, it will probably be one of our employees will help with the final edits and the polishing of the photos. And we'll probably still have to touch some stuff daily, even if it means just kind of get this from here to the editors and then just quickly throw this in an invoice. Fortunately, we know a lot of our work, usually about 10 days in advance. So maybe we can even load our invoices just so everything is ready. But I think we're going to have to touch a portion of it while we're away. So hopefully Mexico has good internet.
Yeah, right. Okay, question. Are you guys using HD Photo Hub or REO or anything, any kind of backend system? Yeah.
No, right now it's just a amalgamation of systems.
Okay, that would be one of the questions on here is it answering that. That would be my number one thing that I would focus on like next, because that's going to take a lot of the work off your plate and it's going to help with that. I think we talked on the last one how you take orders and you like to talk to people a lot on the phone and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the customer service is really important to you. And this allows you to do online ordering. So you don't have to talk to the people every day, which is good and bad. But at the end of the day, it's all about ease of use for our clients and simplifying their lives. And if it takes them 2 minutes to hop online, put in an order versus having to call and pin you down and go back and forth on which date works, it's simplifying their lives at the end of the day. So it's actually providing, I think, better customer service at the end of the day. And of course, you're always available for questions and stuff. But seriously, will make your life so much easier. And there's so many automations that just like an automated reminder that their shoot's coming up, automated reminder to review your work. Like,
did you guys have any resistance from clients? Because I think that's our biggest concern and why we haven't really moved forward with it yet is because we are in kind of a retirement community. So that's what a lot of our real estate agents are, of that average real estate age. And we actually, I did a poll on our Instagram. 99% of people wanted to be able to call and text us. So we're so nervous about maybe forcing them to use a system that they don't want to use, or that's not going to be. So do you find yourselves either having to blend, or did you just kind of force them and they got over the change and they got used to it and all's well?
Yeah. Do you want to answer that one, Neal, or do you want to?
Sure. Yeah. So I originally started out having them, I didn't want to spend a lot of time on the phone when I would have to be out at shoots and it was just me. So I originally started out with Calendly, and Calendly was dead easy. So there was a little bit of pushback just because there was a couple extra clicks that they had to do with the new system. And anytime you change, there's always a little pushback. But I tell you, that died after a week, maybe two. Now, as far as the age demographic goes, it's probably likely that you will have some clients that maybe just won't pick it up. But there will be some clients that will love it. So maybe it lightens the load for you, right? And maybe those few that you're like, look, I know they're never going to pick it up. I'm just easier for me to do it. You can still do that. I think Rach and I both have a couple clients that we're just like, whatever, we take the call and we book it. You know what I mean?
Just know.
Yeah.
Hi. Some people just like to talk to someone. They don't want to do it online. It's fine. I probably have 5 to 10 clients like that.
A lot of them find too that the rescheduling and all that is so easy for them. And one of the things I tell them to get them excited about is one of the great things is you don't have to wait for me to make a decision. You could be sitting down at a listing appointment with your potential clients and say, hey, if we're going to do your photos and everything, let's take a look at my photographer's availability right now. They pull it up. They see my actual availability. They go, what about Wednesday at 2? Does that work for you guys? They go, yep. They book it. Done. So that's like a big convenience and relief for them. And then the other thing I tell them on is also, guys, you can just reschedule in the system. You also don't have to call me and figure out a new time I'm available. You can literally just click on it. It'll show you my new times that you could reschedule to. So once they do that a couple times, they're like, this is so easy, So
yeah, it's honestly, it's just a matter of training your clients. And I think at the end of the day, it's just a matter of you're introducing something new, and new things are always a little scary for everyone. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but at the end.
Included because
yeah, no, and I had the same
like a little bit of control too.
Yeah, and I had the same fear. I used to let them put the shoot date in, but not the time that they would get. So when I'd get home, I would have all these orders that were put in by clients, but I'd have to go in, assign the time and to the shooter. Because I didn't geographically, I was like, I don't want them to book a shoot up north and then the next one be down south and the next one be up north. And the like it just we could squeeze more in if I would set the time and date for the shoot. So I did that through 22, the end of 22, I think. And as soon as I flipped the switch and let them pick the time and date, it was like I saved myself so much time and stress. I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? And yeah, there were some times when the shoots would be all over and I would just call the client and be like, hey, can we move you to this date? I'm going to move you with this shooter. You know, it just makes more sense for our day. And they understand. They change on us all the time. So I always feel like if I have to call and change on them every once in a while, they're usually very understanding, more so than I give myself grace for. You know what I mean? I always like, so I don't want to bug them. I don't want to like change anything on people because I feel like that's inconveniencing them. And then I remember, you know what? We bend over backwards for our people. So I'm sure they'll do the same for us every once in a while.
You earned a little bit of grace.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Being flexible on your side, you earn a little bit on the other side too.
Yeah.
Your other fear too is losing that connection because your customer support is a big thing, and I think that's super important and something that can differentiate you. But you don't have to lose that connection. You just find a new way to go at that, right? It doesn't mean you can't still talk to these people, and they might even appreciate it even more. You just reached out to them, you know, hey, saw you booked a shoot. We're looking forward to it, and just want to know how things are going lately. They might even appreciate you even more for that. Like you didn't have to do that, you know. So you don't have to lose the connection. And then another way that I make my connection is in person with the client, and then with follow-ups or something. You know, there's a lot of ways that you can, you know, just even checking in once in a while it goes a long way. So, yeah, efficiency doesn't have to eliminate great support.
Yeah. And it's really nice because you deliver photos and they have to pay before they can download their photos, and all your invoicing is done for you. So it's like hands off. It's just one less thing you have to worry about, really.
And I would say with H2 Photo Hub and or an admin that takes over your regular tasks, these tasks that you are a gifted person on social media. So I always think about it that way, like, where's your value? And could somebody take over a lot of your other tasks so you could work more on where you're really valued and where less people are skilled there? Somebody who can upload the photos and somebody who can even review a photo and make sure it looks good and consistent. That's somebody who can be trained like hourly for that. And then you can focus on the creative stuff, and you could focus on the personal. Not everybody's going to be able to reach out to these clients and have great personality and charm to, and, you know, I'm sure they love talking to both of you guys. So I would have you on that full time, or JD on that, versus doing little tasks that more people would be able to be trained to do pretty easily, you know, and that would allow you to go on vacation and not have to do those and chime in when it's convenient for you.
And you could be like surfing somewhere and orders would just be popping in. You'd check your email and be like, we got 3 orders today, babe. Isn't that cool? Cheersing. Yeah.
I'm seeing an HD Photo Hub ad here.
I know, right? Oh, I love it. I love it.
It's like
Okay,
the
so
Corona ad between our 2 bottles on the beach and this H2 Photo Hub on the background.
please film that while you're there. We'll make something out of it.
Yes, love it.
Where are you guys going? Actually,
We are going to Playa Mujeres in Mexico. So it's like just north of Cancun area.
Awesome. Oh,
like I just was going to say too, looking at your social media, I'm so jealous of the blue water you guys have there is insane. And it's like, how do you find a better place to vacation?
Right?
Well,
it's so gorgeous.
It's hard to vacation at home.
No, totally. No, totally.
But it is. We really are. We love, I mean, June, July, August, even though it's really hot, that's when the water looks the most beautiful. And it's such a treat when we get to go and shoot something that's near the water, especially because where we're at, we have intercoastal as well. So it goes from the ocean, then you see the land, and then you see kind of like that intercoastal waterway. So
it's pretty neat.
It's pretty.
We got a bunch of bridges. We kind of live on a little island, so it's fun.
Yeah, totally. The drone style. I can see why you like the drone, man. Those things, those shots are beautiful. And I love you guys'
Did
social
you
media
see our
presence.
airplane mode?
Yes, I
We
did.
remade the reels. We got
Yeah,
that from your page. It looks
and
so
you did it better
awesome
than
up
and you did
the
it better than me. Thank you very much.
Just improved upon it.
You did a really good job. I loved it. It was so good. It was so good. Well,
Well, great idea.
the secret too is I stole it from somebody else too. So
Kind of how social media works a little bit.
I believe the word is inspiration.
There you go.
That's
You were
right.
inspired by someone.
I was
That's right, that's right.
inspired to steal it from somebody else. Yeah. No, that's so cool. And you guys are doing a great job on your social media content. So great. And I would say less admin for Mercedes and more Mercedes fun reels. That one reel where you're doing the voiceover about the, rescheduling, we don't care, whatever. I love it.
I sent that
love
to my
it.
admin. I'm like, Casey, remind me to make this. I think we need to do this.
Oh yeah, I had
So
the same
good.
thought. I'm totally
Yeah.
stealing that too. I mean, I'm inspired by it.
We used to make all of those when we weren't actually shooting and we didn't have any work to do. So I was like coming up with all these ideas. Now we're busy and I'm like struggling to think about like different creative ways like that. So you're right. It would be nice to kind of offload so I can get back into making some of the more fun reels and marketing us from that perspective again.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you guys
funny
got
'cause-
the charisma. Use it, right?
yeah, for sure. You guys have like a little power team going on here. You got a lot of good things that you could go a long ways with this for sure.
Totally.
Neil and I share the Instagram account, Shooting the Shit, and we both comment on people's stuff. So randomly I'll see like so and so liked your comment, and I look, I'm like, I didn't comment that, and I was like, oh, it was Neil. And then I look, and I'm like, oh, that is.
We used to have that problem. I'm like, stay off it, would you?
Stop commenting. I can't keep track. Oh, it's great. Doubling down. We both comment on the same post, just different things. Like, what's wrong with these people?
So what did we answer? Did we even say what that first question was? Did we just dive into it?
We haven't even asked the question yet. We've just been chatting.
Okay.
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
so let's-
officially start with the Q&A. Ready? Question number 1.
So if you were in our shoes, what's the first thing you would prioritize to accelerate growth?
If my calendar wasn't as full as I wanted it to be, so there's a lot of ways to look at accelerating your growth. But if I was in the shoes of, I don't have all my days full, then I think I would prioritize going to brokerages and doing like a lunch and learn, getting in front of them and explaining your services and what you do. And you guys would be gold. You guys they would love you and they would want to work with you versus some stuffy guy they never even met before. With your personality, you're great. You're very personal. You're great to talk to. Like, I'm sure they would love to work with you guys. I mean, you wear pom-pom, what do you got? Pom-pom shirts and
Well, they're palms right here. Big palm trees, baby.
Is it a fishing hat? What's that? I can't tell what the hat is.
It's a sea turtle. It says chill.
See. So Rachel and I have both had
Florida lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. Rachel and I have both had success with doing the in-person things, and Heidi and I have gone together as a team, and that was a big success with a brokerage before, just talking to them about our services, and not even a hard sell. You just go and talk about what you do, and you give them a couple recommendations. Maybe you check out some of their what listings and their media on their social media, and all of a sudden they're interested because you actually show interest in what they do. And they'd like to work with somebody who's actually going to help them, not just show up to do a job and leave. And I think that's a big part of probably what you guys do with customer service and building your rapport with your clients and all that.
Absolutely.
Have you guys done any broker presentations yet or in person stuff?
We have. Last year we did a few, and then we joined a local association for one of the, so we have 2 MLSs. One covers 3 of the 4 counties we service, and then 1 county has their own MLS. So we started by joining the larger one, sponsored a meeting, met some people. I want to say we booked a job within the first meeting, maybe second meeting, and then we've had a couple recurring ones come off of that. Then we came into our hiring season, so we've already committed to joining the second association. but getting into the brokerages and actually, you know, hands-on, we've only done a few of those, and yeah, they all went great. So now it's just make the time for it and get in there and do it. Definitely got the confidence and excited to do it, but now it's just got to make the time. It's,
Right.
the shoe is so backwards. I don't mind doing the sales, but like, if this camera's not clicking, we're not making money. So every time
Right.
I get a job, I'm like, go. So
Yeah.
trying to
balance
build for the
working
future.
on the business versus working in the business and
Right.
trying to prioritize, and also understanding that we might take like a step back before we can take 2 steps forward. Like maybe our sales just will be down because we can't be shooting as much because we need to be putting ourselves out there. And these meetings are at very inopportune times, you know, like 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And it's like, we only have 4 hours or 5 hours of daylight right now. So
Yeah, for sure, especially during this time of year. Sunsets at like 5:05 December.
Yeah. But you have your 2 employees now. So you've got
That's what
people who
I'm-
can be shooting for you, right?
Yeah.
So that let them take
Yeah.
it. I mean, I take a pay cut just because I am burnt out. Like I don't want to shoot as much. I only want to shoot 2 or 3 days a week. And I'm okay with that. I'm like, let them take the work. Let them do it. I'm not going to make as much, but my bills are still being paid. You know, as
Yeah.
long as my
Right.
bills are being paid, it's fine. The money will come, but that freed me up to be able to focus more on the marketing stuff. So one thing my assistant and I are doing right now, she pulled our whole client list and we are sending out 10 emails at a time. We've drafted just a template asking if I can come in and do broker presentations at their office. So she's sending out 10 at a time, about 1 or 2 of these a week. And we've sent out, I think, about 30 of them. And I've had about 5 people reply back that they're interested in having me in their office. I'm doing one on Tuesday. I have another team meeting that I'm doing, and I just had 2 more people reply today. So that is working. Those are people that you already know, right? They have a relationship with you. They're happy to help. They're like, and I positioned it as like, I want to come add value to your team. I want to teach. And I give them 3 different options of what I could talk about. And all the options kind of lead them back to our services. You know, it's all around marketing and lifestyle and
did
branding
you
and all that
like
stuff.
a training type luncheon? So where you're like teaching them, whether it be something social media related, or like what is your kind of speaking bit about to
Yeah.
add value to them?
So one of them is 3 ways to build your personal brand, which can be a 10-minute long speech or an hour-long speech. So it's, you know, order the full works package, get lifestyle and branding photos, and then get on video. So that's promoting our agent intros and our property videos, promoting our lifestyle photos, and then promoting the full works package is really to get them more leads to bring that to their next broker or their next listing presentation. So, and then the other one is 5 tools that you need to start creating content on your own. So, and that's one like just getting on social media. So I'll bring I haven't done this one yet. I'm doing this one on the 27th of this month for about 40 agents from Real Producers. So that'll be a fun one. I know. He's like, you get to speak. I'm like, how long do I have? Can I have 20 minutes? He's like, you get like 8. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll talk fast. I know. It's a good problem to have when you don't have enough time to talk, right? It's usually like, how do I fill it? And there was a third one. Prepping listings, like how to get a home ready. And that would be like curb appeal and, you know, removing garbage cans, less is more, all that stuff. And I've done, I did a Zoom presentation for a team. Gosh, it was probably 6 months ago. I just found it today. She recorded it and sent it to me. And I forgot that I even did it.
Nice.
So my assistant and I are also working on our blog posts right now. So we just did an episode on AI. You had a question on here about AI. So I'm going to point you to our episode that we just had because it's loaded with AI tools for photographers.
Listen to that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We wrote these questions a couple of days ago, and we watched your episode like 2 nights ago. And
Okay.
oh, that's exactly what we had questions about. So it was a great episode. Anybody should go watch it if they haven't yet.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I didn't even know most of those. And I've played with, allright.ai takes a video recording. So I have that Zoom recording. I threw it into allright.ai and then it creates an article of my Zoom recording, like a blog post article. So then I took that, I put it in a Word document and I sent it to my assistant. I said, read through this, clean it up. It's kind of messy, you know, just proofread it, just tighten it up a little bit, and then let's throw it into Rank IQ, which then optimizes that blog post for SEO and tells you what keywords need to be added. So you go in and add a bunch of keywords, it re-rates it for you, you get it up to an A+, and then it's ready to post. So we did that. And then I took that recording today, right before this, and put it into Opus Clip, which cuts your Zoom call into shorts. So I have like 20 shorts that it pulled, nice. And they're freaking gold, you guys. And it rates them like the hook from an A to an F. So it tells it the flow, the value. So it tells you like how good the reel is. And it's all done by AI. It's incredible. But it's like so easy. Like stuff that we would have spent hours working on in the past. Now because of AI is just like, oh my gosh. So I told Casey, I'm like, let's plan on doing 12 to 24 new blog posts this year. Each quarter, one of those blog posts that we put out is going to be my broker presentation for that quarter that I'll talk about when I have speaking events, when I'm, we'll do an episode on the podcast about it. We'll just incorporate it into everything we're doing for that quarter. Our whole marketing strategy on social media for that quarter will be around that topic. And then I can create a long form YouTube video, cut it into shorts. We can make it into a blog post. Like, do you see what I mean? It's just repurposing that content and keeping it as simple as possible around one subject that's going to really add a lot of value to my clients. Because that's the number one thing. Like, I want to be helping these agents to be better on camera, right? To have better presentation, to have a better mindset, to learn how to set up systems in their business. Like all these things that I've done over the last 8 years, however long, to get to where I'm at today and the things I've learned, like, why not bring that to them? And then you become their
Make you a partner, not just a vendor.
Yeah. And then you're like that trusted resource that they go to, so that's what I'm doing to get more clients this year, because we have been kind of stagnant we've grown a little bit every year, but it's not the growth that I want to see. Like, I want to get another full-time shooter on, and that just is going to mean I need more clients. So it's happening.
And I would say one other thing. So you guys are already doing a good job with social media stuff. It all looks really good. And I like that you get some personality in there. And I'd say even more, since it's Mathews media, right? I'd get more personality of the both of you in there. Cause those are some of my favorite things, seeing you guys working. So maybe Mercedes goes out with you once in a while, get some content once your admin frees up some time or whatever. And then the piece I would add to social media that's been helpful to me is because realtors kind of, they all have somebody they look up to, and you might already work with some of those people. And so I would recommend tying in your clients to your social media. Not only do that, it builds a connection too, that you're like posting with them, behind the scenes stories, whatever. And if they're doing agent intros, posting those videos and tagging them in it or collaborating with them on it. But they like it, but also realtors who see the media and see what the person they look up to is doing often go to that agent, go, who is that did that with you? Or they see it on social and they already know. And so they want to work with you too. So I've got a lot of agents that come to me just because they've seen I work with somebody else.
Rach, sorry to interrupt, but a little aside here. I'm kind of excited because I'm branching out to a new market, first of all, in Florida. But the tricky part is it's pretty competitive down there. And there's some of these huge companies offering these crazy deals for like the first people that use them. And they're giving them like everything. And I was trying to think how I could compete with this. I didn't know if you've done something like this before, what your thoughts were. But what I did was with HD Photo Hub, I set up a promo code for a little discount, and then also included the marketing kit, because a lot of these competitors are offering all these things, and it sounds really crazy. Like, oh my gosh, they get a website. Oh, they get social media stuff. Oh, they get, all these things. And I thought about it. I'm like, really? Oh, a video and all this. Actually, that's just the marketing kit that we get in HD Photo Hub. So I'm doing the promo code. They get a marketing, a slideshow video. They get a website. They get social media templates. They get printable flyers and all the stuff that the agents love. And all of a sudden, I look like this, huge company that does all the same stuff these big companies are doing, and it looks kind of slick. But I didn't know if have you tried that? Have you ever done the promo code thing?
I have used the promo codes, which are great. You just generate them within HD Photo Hub. You give the code to your people. There's a little section when they check out to just put in that promo code, and it automatically applies that discount, which is so convenient. I think that's a great way for you to stand apart from your competition too, Neal. Promoting yourself as a marketing company offering a marketing kit, and going into a little bit of detail with that just sets you apart, makes you look baller.
Yeah,
Love it.
totally. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. All right, cool. So I'm going with that, and that's what I'm going to do to try and kind of get people excited to use me the first time, and hopefully it'll get some traction rolling in that, because it's a brand new market. So I'm excited. Awesome.
Yeah, I love it. If you want to try out HD Photo Hub, you can get 50 free credits, which will buy you 3 property websites and marketing kits that you can test out on your clients. And the promo code for that is STS in shooting the shit. Try it out today. Okay, and one more method. Are you guys doing any kind of outreach on Instagram? Like cold outreach to people brokers in your area?
I would say about the most that I do is I try to follow agents or brokers that we're not following, and I try to reach out and I engage with them.
Now, I don't have a problem outreaching via text or email and sending them to our Instagram. We actually use our Instagram as our calling card. I was trying to find a business card, but our QR code is on the back. It sends them right to our Instagram page. So we want everybody to go right to that Instagram page. So a lot of times I'll just text people. We get so many people, hey, do you want to sell your house? Or people will mail us, hey, thanks for the note. Don't want to sell my house, but I'm a real estate photographer. Here's my Instagram page. Call me if you need me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have no shame.
I love it. Yeah, I would say cold outreach, and then maybe if you have a deal for new clients. So if you have like, a free first shoot or half off or whatever you want to do, $100 off their first shoot, something to entice them to try you out, to use you. And then lastly, I would say Facebook ads. Facebook ads are greatly underutilized in our industry, I think. So creating.
Question.
Yeah.
Our Instagram is awesome. Our Facebook.
I'm not a Facebooker. I don't have Facebook, so I don't use Facebook.
Well, Facebook exists because of Instagram. So like it's like the forgotten social media page.
That's my fault.
Knowing that, do you still think Facebook ads?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to run on Instagram. It's basically, okay. Yeah, they'll run on both. I think, well, you can have, I don't know. Can you have an Instagram without a Facebook? Well, obviously you can. Yeah.
Well, no, we have an Instagram, we have a Facebook.
It just doesn't get tended to.
Yeah.
It's just, I think whatever gets cross-posted from our Instagram is what ends up there.
Okay. And I've always heard that boosting posts doesn't work on Instagram. I've heard it's a total waste of time. And Neal and I tested it out with our ads for the social media content bundle. And the one that we boosted we've probably gotten 7 sales from it and probably 10 or 15 followers just from that ad alone. So putting $30 in. Yeah. So, I mean, it works. It does get more eyes on your stuff. So, but don't do it from your cell phone. If you have an Apple phone, it will charge you a surcharge. It's like pretty hefty. So do it from your computer.
Yeah.
I think
it charged like an extra $12 or something.
Yeah. I was going to reboost one for us, Neal. And I was like, oh yeah, never mind. I'm like laying in bed. I'm like, yeah, that'll happen tomorrow or the next day. I'm like, I'm not getting up. So
that's your laying in bed fee, your service fee.
Right? This is your lazy fee that you get up and do it. Not paying it. It was good. It was an impulsive thing anyway. I'm glad I didn't do it. It's fine. So anyways, that's what I would do if I had to build my business right now. It would be networking, getting out and doing as many presentations as you can. And just you take really good care of the people that you have already. So continue that and tell people when you're out on shoots, just let them know like, hey, we hired 2 new people. We're really trying to grow this year. Can I give you a stack of cards that you put out at your office? People are willing to tell their friends too. So don't be afraid to ask.
Oh, and I think on the Facebook ads thing too, you have your choice of where you want to direct them. What do you want them to do once they're interested in the ad? So you can direct them where you want, to your website or, whatever you want to do. So they don't have to go check out your Facebook. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. What's the next?
Oh, so I guess on the heels of growth, like what was the biggest challenge when scaling and how did you guys tackle it?
Still tackling. Is my answer. I've tried to scale. I got up to 2 shooters and now I'm back to me.
And so it was a challenge, and now I'm gonna probably restart again very soon, because I thought for a while, like, all right, maybe it's just me, but then to focus on the things I want to focus on, I need more time. And the only way for me to get more time is to step away from being in front of the camera the whole time. So I'm gonna have to at least try to get one more shooter, at least part time, so that I can, block off a half day, And if I wanted to do more, meet and greets or lunch and learns and stuff, that's the same method I would take, is to get somebody that at least once a week, half my day is blocked off or a day is blocked off, that they're going to shoot at least. So there's still an option that they,
Intentional.
But that's the only way I'm going to get away from the
What
camera.
direction did you decide to go? Did you decide to hire 1099, full-time employee, part-time employee? What have you tried, and what, was your experience with that?
Both were 1099. Yeah, because for me, I don't it wasn't that I had a ton of work for them. It was really just trying to like pepper them in to get them going. And so they only worked part-time, and a lot of times that they got busy were times where I wasn't available, because people were still used to trying to book me. And the way my system works would be different for you. The way you currently work is you'd probably just assign them to somebody. But the way my system currently works is it shows a picture of all the people. So there was 3 of us that they potentially could choose, and they would choose who they wanted. So they were picking me a lot of times unless I wasn't available. Then they were picking that other person. But yeah, 1099, just because they were very, very part-time, and I was still ironing it out, and that was the easiest way to go. And I didn't really have any problems with that. That worked fine. And yeah, and I also gave them a percentage of each shoot, and I'm not sure if I'm still going to go that route. I know a lot of companies just pay hourly. And I'm not sure if I would go that route instead. And then it all depends where you live too, because you might not be able to get away with 1099. Like in California, I think they have to be employees or something different there, that they can't really get away with the same thing that we do here. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Philly, California.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Washington's following right behind. I'm like, oh boy.
Rachel, I think it was actually your recommendation, because I think we were originally considering 1099, and then you, based on our conversation, it was, I guess, we decided at that point it was probably going to be a better fit to bring them on as an hourly employee.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I could do it
For
all
us, it
over
was more-
again,
yeah.
I'd do employees. But they're all
Employees?
contractor. Yeah, they're all contractors right now. I am readjusting the payout and the way, I haven't figured it out yet. I'm still working on it. But I'm adjusting the pricing and the packages and the offerings too, and then the shooter payout as well. So
why, Rach? Why would you do it that way instead?
why would I change them to employees in the future?
Yep.
More control over training, hours, saying they can't work they're my competitors right now, and I don't care really. I mean, I don't look at it like that, but at the end of the day, 2 of them have their own business, and they really are my competitors. So one of them especially, so that to me is like just kind of a conflict of interest to have them working for me and then having their own business. It's nice because they're fully trained. They have their own gear. I don't have to worry about it. I know they go in and out, they know what they're doing, but I've been burnt multiple times by shooters that had their own business.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think going forward, anyone else that I hire on will be an employee. So, and I think hourly or a lower percentage, we'll figure that out. So just for the health of the business, I didn't realize like how expensive it really is to run a business. I mean, there's a lot of things you have to consider, and you should have a decent sized cushion in there, and have money in the bank if you decide you want to get vehicles one year or something, or I don't know, buy new equipment or whatever.
Or in case your new employee accidentally drops his $4,000 Sony A7S III in his first week.
Maybe you need to have a backup.
Maybe you need to have a backup camera.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
we actually
I would
saved
die.
up 90 days. I was just saying, we actually saved up 90 days worth of his salary and expenses before we would even hire, just because we said, we're going to try it, but I know it was unrealistic to think that he wasn't going to make a single return in 90 days, but we just felt more comfortable going into that situation. And it was also like, hey, we're asking somebody to like come join our little bandwagon and, get health insurance and tell your girlfriend it's going to be okay. And this is a cool place to work.
Yeah.
So we just really wanted to make sure they knew what they were getting into. And so that was what we told them. Hey,
This was our first hire.
Yeah.
So.
We're good for 90 days. We've got the cash. If you're willing to take a chance on a small company, I think we're building something. So ultimately, we took on someone who was more than just an employee. He was excited to help us build this. And he actually came from the real estate world. So, and he's a video editor by trade. So just kind of all the skill sets were different verticals we can help grow upon just, hey, go shoot this house. So it's going to be really exciting to see what he can continue to add to the team.
That's great. Good job, guys. Good job. My biggest challenge with scaling, I think, was consistency. I'm sure you guys have heard this story on the podcast, but through COVID, we just grew so fast. And it was like, throw people in, get them trained and go, and our consistency really did struggle with that. And it's still to this day, I have clients who request just me. They're like, can we just have you? You're the best. We love the way you shoot. I had one just the other day say it to me again. And I'm like, we all shoot the same, guys. Like, really, it's not that different, but I don't know what it is.
I was going to ask, is it the consistency in the end result, or is it the consistency in the experience that you provide while you're at the shoot itself, would you say?
I think it's
maybe even both.
Yeah, well, our editing's all the same. Like the photographers upload to the same editor, and they get the photos back from at the same time. So that's not a problem. It's not the editing, it's the style of the photos, like the composition of the photos, right? Or the angles of the photos, I should say. Or it's the prepping of the home, like they missed a pillow, or one of my shooters is awesome, super nice guy, but just not peppy and smiley and bubbly like I am. Like I come in all, like excited to see them, and he's just like, hi, I'm here to shoot. Yeah. And he's just quiet the whole time. He's introverted. Like he doesn't want to talk. He's focused. And I've had multiple people who've complained like he's not very friendly. And I'm like, well, he's introverted and he's just there to do his job. And he's nice. He's not mean.
You hire a photographer.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, let him do his job. Quit complaining. Yeah. Anyways, it's fine. And I've told him I need you to be a little bit more like frou-frou, like be a little happier, please. And just cheese it up. Frou-frou. Just bounce in, smile. Hi, guys. No, I am not like that at shoots, but I am.
So then how do you overcome that hurdle and ensure that, because that's quote unquote your brand, let's call it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're hiring not your yes, it's some of your composition and some of your how you arrange the photo, but you're right, it is that, because I am much more upbeat than my two employees, but I also am I'm 10, 15 years older than them. I have way more experience just even being in homes and being around people in sales. So like, how do you help the brand go with the new people? And in your case, how do you sit along with contractors?
Yeah.
And getting them to buy into it too.
Yeah. So we have team meetings probably, well, right now it's like every 2 to 3 weeks. So we do a team meeting. And I talk a lot about like, we've done our core values exercise, all of us together. I've talked about our messaging and it took them through, different reasons why we talk to our clients the way we do, and how, I kind of explain where they're at in the process, like how this is really stressful for homeowners. And I just explained, because like my assistant and I are going through this social media training right now, and it's very intense. And it's like, we have to get like dialed down into what a day in the life for a realtor is. And it was like every hour of their day had to be mapped out. And I'm like, this is so easy. I'm like, this is silly. And she's like, this is so helpful to me. She goes, I didn't know it. I didn't know this. I didn't realize their lives were this chaotic. And she was like, this is really helpful for me to go through all this. And to me, it's like, duh, like second nature. But the team, they don't know what their lives are like. So I think if you can explain to your shooters kind of what the day in the life of a realtor is, how their business works and where we stand in line of contractors, right? How many things are going on. If you can emphasize that to your team and then explain like, hey, our company, our main focus is taking the best care of them as possible and simplifying their marketing and simplifying their lives to make it seamless. We do that by XYZ, right? We do that by coming in and being prepared. We do that by prepping them before we even get there so they know what to do by sending our shooting checklist or whatever, right? So I think it's just educating them on the process, the industry, your standards with customer service and your standards with mindset too. I have team meetings where we'll talk about a mindset, something about mindset on the meeting. And sometimes it starts really awkward. I'm like, this is so weird. I feel like I'm like preaching, you know? And I'm like, they need to know that like this, it's important that you take time to yourself. Like it's important that you take time off so you are recharged to go to work the next week, right? So we also set goals, and I try to get involved a little bit in their personal lives with the goals and be like, okay, it's not a work goal, make it a personal goal. You know, we try to hold each other accountable with that. So I think just trying to get involved and care about who they are as people, you know, and what they're into. I think that helps too, to kind of bring the team together. And they love when we get together as a group, which we do not do that enough. But anytime that we've gotten together for dinners or
How old are they? How old are your employees? And I'm only asking because we have Gen Zers, and Reddit tells us that they do not want to hang out with their bosses. So he's fighting it. I'm like, we should
they
take
do.
them to lunch. We should take them to dinner. And he's like, they don't want to hang out with us.
It doesn't matter. They're going to hang out with you and they're going to like it. It's like your children. You're like, you're hanging out with me and you're going to enjoy it. Let's go. We'll make it fun. No, ours, let's see, how old are they? They're only like, I don't know, Colin's probably 38, maybe. Key's probably the same age, in his 30s. Michael is in his mid 30s.
26 year old.
Yeah.
Okay. I did have Lige was like 20. He was like 18 when I hired him, or 19. Something like that. He was young.
Is he still with you?
No. Yeah. And then who else? Like Matt, my videographer, he's 22 now, but he was like 18 when I met him, 17, 18. So yeah. And I mean, yeah, they don't, it's a work thing. They'll go, but
there you go.
Yeah, it's a meeting. I'm going to pay you to be there.
Yeah.
And book recommendations are good too. If you have like good books that you might want them to read, or podcast episodes, or like I send them shorts on Instagram all the time. You know, I'll be watching something, it resonates with me and I'll send it to them, stuff like that. So just, you know, be in their lives and try to promote positivity and whatever your brand values are. Just try to promote that to them.
Okay.
Yeah. I want to say too that the personality part is a big part of it. You're not going to be able to find duplicates of yourself. That's pretty unlikely, right? Especially if you're going to scale. Maybe you find one guy who's very similar to you and you could have been brothers, right? But if you're going to scale and have 10 shooters or whatever, like that's going to be very unlikely. So, you know, the old saying to hire the smile, right? So you guys, customer support is really important to you guys as in your brand. So I think it's going to be most important that when you're hiring these people, that they get that part, they go on the shoots with you and they see how you treat the customers, what you do when you show up. And those are all things that separate you from the competition, right? That you do maybe go around and karate chop the pillows, and making sure that they get that and they're on board with that, that instead of just showing up and shooting right away, that they separate the two and go, customer support is, I say hello and I ask them a question about the house and I do a walkthrough real quick and just make sure things look good. Then you can go into I'm a photographer mode and take your pictures and focus. But if you've got somebody who doesn't seem capable of that, then they're probably not a good fit and they're probably not going to be a good match for your brand. I think I come from a restaurant background. If you consider what you would be looking for when you hired a waiter who had to go up to a table and interact with the people, and they would want to be repeat customers and request that waiter next time they come back, you should be looking for the same thing for a shooter. They're not going to be the same as you. I don't think, it's going to be very hard to get. And that's a tricky thing between growing. For me, being a boutique, a lot of what I do is personality, and we have fun in the shoots and they love that and they come back for that. But my other two shooters were not exactly the same as me, but they were very nice. They were very friendly. They were very approachable. They were very helpful. So nobody had a problem working with those people on the shoots. The feedback was, oh yeah, he was super nice. And I love that he was attentive and made sure things looked right and all that. That was the core, right? Then they're going to maybe choose somebody, and they might not prefer me over that person. Actually, my sister's actually considering working for me, and she is not my personality. She's a lot more reserved and conservative, and I'm just like wacky, goofy guy. And she's like, I'm not like you, because she saw the interaction when I show up and I get hugs from the agents and stuff like that, and she's like, she's like this when people hug her. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's okay. So long as you're caring and you are there to do the right thing, they're actually going to fall in love with how great you are with things that you're better at than me, which is just like recommendations on styling. And like, she has her skill set and they're going to like her. And a lot of people are going to, she's like way fancier than me. The way she looks, she just looks like very high end all the time. Like a lot of people are going to want her to show up at the beach house instead of this guy. You know what I mean? So that's okay. But so long as the core things that are most important to you and your brand and your company match that person and they can pull that off, I think you'd be fine.
Fixing composition. I had a series of, I think we did 3 meetings in a row that were all on composition. And I pulled examples from photographers from all over the country of shots that I liked. And I showed them and we critiqued them and talked about what was good, what was bad, what we liked, what we didn't like. And then I've done Loom record. Do you guys know what Loom is? Loom.
Yeah.
It's a screen recording app and it has a little bubble picture of you in the bottom. So you can record your screen as you're doing something. So all your systems and processes that you're doing, you should be recording those and then you can save them in files within the Loom platform. It's like $10 a month. It's amazing. But Loom is very, very powerful in the sense you can do a critique and you can talk through it and be like, all right, this photo is great, but I would have stood a little bit more to the left and shot this way because you don't want to highlight the refrigerator that's massive. They'd rather see more of the kitchen on the right, stuff like that. So you can really like point it out. You can use your mouse, you can draw, you can crop, can really demonstrate what you would change in those critiques. So, right. And that is on my to-do list. I'm supposed to do that every week. 1 critique every week with my shooters. I've not been doing it, but I have more time now and I'm a lot more focused this year. So that's going to happen.
Oh, and just so to be clear, the whole point behind that hire the smile thing is that you can't train them to have the right attitude. So that's the hire the smile part, is like get the right personality first, the right person who has the right intentions. You can train the rest. You can train the skills like Rachael does with all of them. You can hone that stuff, but you're not going to fix just poor attitude. That's just them. And that's not going to be a fit.